Have you ever felt like your days pass by too quickly? You wake up to the sound of an alarm ringing non-stop, rush through a cup of coffee, and then dive straight into the crowded streets. The whole day is consumed by work, deadlines, messages, and notifications. And when night falls, you collapse onto your bed, exhausted, realizing you can't even recall a single moment that truly made you smile today. That is the sign that we are living too fast. We're caught in the whirlwind of society, of work, of ambition, until we forget how to truly enjoy life. In this fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept up in the constant rush, always chasing after the next big thing, the next milestone, the next achievement. But in doing so, we often lose sight of what truly matters. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you paused to appreciate the simple beauty of a sunrise, or savored the aroma of your morning coffee instead of gulping it down while checking your emails? These small moments, often overlooked in our haste, are the very essence of life. Yet, we rush past them, our minds already racing towards the next task, the next appointment, the next deadline. I once heard a story that perfectly illustrates this point. A professor took his students on a field trip. They walked past a beautiful flower field, but none of the students stopped. They all hurried along, their minds preoccupied with reaching their destination. The professor asked, "Did you see anything?" They replied, "Just some flowers." "Professor," he smiled and said, "Yes, but it's those flowers that make this trip memorable." Life is the same. We often keep our eyes fixed on distant goals, career, money, success, and forget that happiness lies in the little things along the way. A ray of sunlight through the window in the morning, a loved one's smile, a simple meal shared with family. All of these can become precious memories if only we pause to notice them. But sadly, most of the time, we don't. We just keep running, as if afraid that if we slow down, we'll fall behind. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to hustle, to grind, to push ourselves to the limit. Social media feeds us a steady diet of other people's highlight reels, making us feel like we're not doing enough, not achieving enough, not living enough. Yet, if we keep running endlessly, where will we end up? At a destination of exhaustion, at a life that feels empty despite all our accomplishments. Is that really what we're striving for? Slowing down doesn't mean laziness or avoiding responsibility. It's not about abandoning our goals or shirking our duties. Slowing down means listening to yourself, truly being present in every moment. It's about finding balance, about recognizing that life is not just about the destination, but also about the journey. When we slow down, we realize that the morning coffee is not just to keep us awake, but to savor its sweet aroma. We notice the way the sunlight plays on the leaves of the trees outside our window. We feel the texture of the clothes we wear, the ground beneath our feet. We hear the laughter of children playing in the park, the melody of birds singing in the early morning. Dinner with family is not just to fill our stomachs, but to feel the warmth of love. It's a chance to connect, to share stories, to create memories. An ordinary afternoon can turn into a beautiful memory if we actually live it. A walk in the park becomes an adventure. A quiet moment alone becomes a chance for reflection and growth. Slowing down allows us to rediscover the joy in everyday activities. It helps us to be more mindful, more present, more alive. When we slow down, we give ourselves the gift of truly experiencing our lives, rather than just rushing through them. Moreover, slowing down can actually make us more productive in the long run. When we're constantly rushing, we're more prone to mistakes, to burnout, to stress-related illnesses. But when we take the time to pause, to breathe, to reflect, we often find that we can approach our tasks with renewed energy and clarity. If your days feel like a blur, if you constantly feel breathless in the rush of life, then maybe it's time to try slowing down, to see, to hear, to feel, to realize that life is not just a race, but a journey full of flavors. It's time to savor those flavors, to appreciate the richness and complexity of each moment. Think about the last time you felt truly happy. Chances are, it wasn't when you were rushing from one task to another. It was probably a moment when you were fully present, laughing with friends, watching a beautiful sunset, or simply enjoying a quiet moment of peace. These are the moments that make life worth living, and they're often the moments we miss when we're too busy rushing through our days. Slowing down allows us to reconnect with ourselves and with the world around us. It gives us the space to reflect on our lives, our values, our priorities. In the constant rush of modern life, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to us. But when we slow down, we give ourselves the opportunity to reassess, to realign, to ensure that we're living in accordance with our deepest values and desires. Moreover, slowing down can improve our relationships. When we're always in a hurry, we often don't have the time or energy to truly connect with others. We might be physically present, but our minds are elsewhere, already planning the next task or worrying about the next deadline. But when we slow down, we can give our full attention to the people in our lives. We can listen more deeply, empathize more fully, love more completely. And that is why we need to slow down. Because only when we pause, we truly see the beauty of life and of ourselves. We realize that we are not just our jobs, our achievements, our to-do lists. We are complex, multifaceted beings, capable of experiencing a rich tapestry of emotions and experiences. But we can only access this richness when we give ourselves the time and space to do so. Slowing down allows us to cultivate gratitude for the life we have, rather than constantly striving for something more. It helps us to find contentment in the present moment, rather than always looking to the future for happiness. It enables us to live more fully, more authentically, more joyfully. In a world that seems to be spinning faster and faster, slowing down can feel like a radical act. But it's an act that can transform our lives in profound ways. It can help us to rediscover the joy and wonder that we may have lost in the rush of daily life. It can help us to build deeper, more meaningful relationships. It can help us to live with greater purpose and intention. So, as we conclude this part of our journey, I invite you to consider, what would your life look like if you slowed down? What beauty might you notice? What joy might you experience? What insights might you gain? In the next part, we'll discover something important. How do we begin? How do we learn the art of pausing in a world that never stops pushing us to hurry? Because while understanding the importance of slowing down is crucial, knowing how to actually implement this in our daily lives is equally vital. So stay tuned as we explore practical strategies for cultivating slowness and mindfulness in our fast-paced world. In a world that never seems to slow down, the concept of pausing can feel like a distant dream. We're constantly bombarded with messages to keep moving, to achieve more, to be endlessly productive. But here's a truth we often forget. Without pausing, we can't truly see, feel, or live. Consider music for a moment. What makes a melody truly beautiful? It's not just the notes themselves, but the spaces between them. Without those pauses, music becomes nothing more than noise. Life follows the same principle. Without moments of stillness, our days blend into one continuous, exhausting rush. Pausing is an art form, one that we've largely forgotten in our fast-paced society. It's the conscious choice to stop, even if only for a few breaths, and allow ourselves to reconnect with the present moment. It's in these pauses that we find clarity, peace, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. I once had a conversation with a man in his 60s that left a lasting impression on me. He shared, "When I was young, I rushed through everything, my studies, my work, even my meals. I believed that the faster I moved, the more I could accomplish. Now, looking back, I realize I can't remember half of my life. It's as if I fast-forwarded through it all." His voice carried a hint of regret as he continued, "If I could go back, I'd slow down. I'd walk slower, eat slower, love slower, just so I could truly experience it all." His words resonated deeply with me, serving as a powerful reminder that pausing is unto luxury we cur, unto afford it s, a necessity we cur, unto live without. So how do we begin to practice this art of pausing in our daily lives? It starts with small, intentional acts. When you wake up in the morning, before reaching for your phone or jumping out of bed, pause, take a few deep breaths. Notice how your body feels as it transitions from sleep to wakefulness. Feel the softness of your sheets, the warmth of your blanket, the gentle light filtering through your curtains. As you sit down for a meal, pause before taking your first bite. Look at the colors on your plate. Inhale the aromas wafting up from your food. Take a moment to appreciate the journey this meal has taken from the earth where it was grown, to the hands that prepared it, to the table before you. In conversation with a loved one, pause before responding. Look into their eyes, really seeing the person in front of you. Listen not just to their words, but to the emotions behind them. Feel the connection between you grow stronger in that moment of shared presence. These pauses may seem insignificant, but they hold immense power. They transform ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. They remind us that life isn't something happening in some distant future, it's unfolding right here, right now. And here's the most beautiful part. As you practice pausing, you begin to notice things you've never seen before. The intricate patterns of a leaf as you walk down the street, the way sunlight dances across the surface of your morning coffee, the sound of children laughing in a nearby park, the peacefulness hidden within moments of silence. To pause is to awaken to the richness of life around us. It's a way of saying to yourself, I am here, I am alive, and this moment, no matter how simple or mundane it may seem, matters. As we reclaim the art of pausing, we discover that we're not falling behind or missing out. Instead, we're finally beginning to truly live. We're stepping out of the blur of constant motion and into the vibrant, textured reality of our lives. In this next part of our journey, we'll explore how the practice of slowing down fundamentally changes the way we connect with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. We'll discover how pausing allows us to cultivate deeper relationships, find greater meaning in our work, and experience a profound sense of peace and contentment. Imagine walking through a bustling city street, but instead of rushing past everything, you take a moment to pause. You notice the intricate architecture of the buildings around you, the rhythm of footsteps on the pavement, the subtle changes in temperature as you move from sunlight to shadow. In that pause, the city comes alive in ways you've never experienced before. Or picture yourself in an important meeting at work. Instead of immediately jumping in with your thoughts, you pause, you take a breath, allowing yourself to fully absorb what others are saying. In that moment of stillness, you might find a new perspective or a creative solution that you would have missed in the rush to speak. These pauses create space for deeper connection and understanding. They allow us to move beyond surface-level interactions and into a place of genuine empathy and presence. As we continue to practice the art of pausing, we begin to notice a shift in our relationships. Conversations become richer, more meaningful. We listen more intently, respond more thoughtfully. We become more attuned to the subtle cues in body language and tone of voice that often communicate more than words alone. In our relationship with ourselves, pausing allows us to check in with our own thoughts and feelings. It creates space for self-reflection and growth. We become more aware of our patterns, our triggers, our joys. This self-awareness is the foundation for personal growth and emotional intelligence. Pausing also changes our relationship with the world around us. We become more aware of the natural rhythms of life, the changing seasons, the cycles of the moon, the ebb and flow of our own energy. We start to feel more connected to the world, more in tune with its beauty and complexity. But perhaps most importantly, pausing allows us to reconnect with the present moment. In a world that's always pushing us to think about the future or dwell on the past, the ability to be fully present is a rare and precious gift. So as we move forward, let's carry this art of pausing with us. Let's remember that in the space between breaths, in the pause between words, in the stillness between actions, that's where life's richest moments often reside. In our next exploration, we'll delve deeper into how this practice of pausing can transform not just our personal lives, but our communities and even our world. We'll discover how collective moments of pause can lead to greater understanding, compassion, and positive change. Remember, the art of pausing isn't about stopping completely. It's about moving through life with greater awareness and intention. It's about savoring the journey, not just racing to the destination. So take a moment now, pause, breathe, feel the weight of your body, the air on your skin, the beating of your heart. In this moment of stillness, you're not falling behind, you're not missing out. You're exactly where you need to be, fully alive in the present moment. And in that presence, in that pause, you open yourself to all the beauty, wonder, and possibility that life has to offer. This is the true art of living, one pause at a time. When was the last time you truly listened to yourself? Not the noise of your phone, not the pressure of deadlines, not the voices of others telling you what you should be, but the quiet voice inside you, the one that whispers your dreams, your fears, your truth. The reality is, in a life of constant rushing, we lose touch with that voice. We wake up, we run, we check things off a list, we collapse into bed, and somewhere in the middle of all that, we forget who we really are. Slowing down is the bridge back to ourselves. It's the path that leads us to rediscover our authentic selves, buried beneath layers of expectations and obligations. I once met a young woman who worked in a big city. Her days were filled with meetings, emails, constant pressure to perform. She told me, "I don't even know what I want anymore. I'm so busy doing what I have to do that I've forgotten what I love to do." Her words struck a chord, resonating with a feeling many of us have experienced but struggle to articulate. Maybe you've felt that too. And it's because when we never stop, we never listen. We become so caught up in the whirlwind of daily life that we lose sight of our inner compass, the very essence of who we are and what we truly desire. But when you slow down even just a little, you create space. Space to ask, what do I really feel? What do I really need? What do I really want for my life? These questions, simple yet profound, have the power to realign us with our core values and aspirations. Here are a few ways slowing down helps us reconnect. Journaling. Taking 10 minutes to write your thoughts can reveal things buried deep within you. It's a powerful tool for self-discovery, allowing you to explore your innermost thoughts and feelings without judgment. As you put pen to paper, you might be surprised by the insights that emerge, shedding light on parts of yourself you've long neglected. Mindful breathing. Just pausing for a few slow breaths can quiet the chaos and bring you back to the present moment. It's a simple practice, yet it has the power to ground you, to clear your mind of clutter, and to create a moment of stillness in which you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. Being in nature, a walk in the park, sitting by a river, feeling the earth under your feet, it reconnects you to the rhythm of life, which is never in a rush. Nature has a way of putting things into perspective, reminding us of the vastness of the world beyond our daily concerns. In its presence, we often find our worries shrinking and our sense of self expanding. When you do this, you may start to notice something powerful: clarity. You begin to remember what matters to you. You realize that maybe success is not about working faster, but about living truer. Maybe happiness is not something far away, but something within reach when you pause long enough to see it. This clarity doesn't come all at once. It's more like a gentle awakening, a gradual lifting of a fog you didn't even realize was there. You might find yourself remembering old passions you'd set aside, or recognizing patterns in your life that no longer serve you. You might discover that the goals you've been chasing aren't actually your own, but expectations you've internalized from others. Let me ask you, if you stripped away all the rushing, all the noise, who are you, really? What lights you up? What makes your heart feel alive? These aren't easy questions to answer, especially if you've spent years running on autopilot. But they're essential questions if you want to live a life that's truly yours. Perhaps you'll recall a childhood dream you'd forgotten, a talent you never had time to nurture, or a cause that once ignited your passion. Maybe you'll realize that what you truly value isn't the promotion you've been chasing, but the relationships you've been neglecting in pursuit of it. Slowing down doesn't just make life calmer, it makes life clearer. It brings you home to yourself. It's like wiping a foggy mirror suddenly. You can see your reflection more distinctly. You start to recognize the person looking back at you, not as a collection of roles and responsibilities, but as a whole, complex individual with desires, fears, and dreams. This clarity can be both exhilarating and challenging. It might lead you to make changes in your life, to realign your actions with your values. It might mean saying no to things that don't serve your true self, even if they look good on paper. It might mean taking risks to pursue what truly matters to you, because in the end, how can we truly live if we are strangers to our own soul? How can we make decisions that serve us if we don't know who we really are? How can we find fulfillment if we're constantly running away from ourselves? Slowing down is not about becoming less productive or less ambitious. It's about becoming more intentional, more aligned with your authentic self. It's about creating a life that resonates with your true nature, rather than one that merely looks successful from the outside. Think about the times in your life when you felt most alive, most yourself. Chances are, these weren't moments of frantic activity, but moments of presence and connection with yourself, with others, with the world around you. These are the moments that slowing down can help you cultivate more of in your life. It's important to remember that this process of reconnecting with yourself is just that, a process. It's not about achieving a perfect state of self-awareness, but about cultivating a practice of returning to yourself again and again. It's about creating habits and rituals that help you stay connected to your inner voice, even amidst the noise of daily life. This might mean setting aside time each day for reflection, whether through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation. It might mean regularly reassessing your priorities and adjusting your life accordingly. It might mean learning to say no to commitments that don't align with your values, creating space for what truly matters to you. As you embark on this journey of slowing down and reconnecting with yourself, be patient, be kind to yourself. Remember that you're unlearning years, perhaps decades, of conditioning that has taught you to prioritize doing over being, achievement over authenticity. Celebrate the small moments of clarity and connection. Notice how your relationships with yourself and others begin to shift as you become more present, more attuned to your true self. Pay attention to the subtle ways your life begins to feel more aligned, more purposeful. In the next part, we will explore how slowing down not only reconnects us with ourselves, but also transforms the way we connect with the people we love. Because when we're more present with ourselves, we become more present with others. When we're more in touch with our own needs and feelings, we become better able to understand and respond to the needs and feelings of those around us. Slowing down is not just a personal practice. It's a radical act of presence that has the power to transform our relationships, our communities, and ultimately, our world. It's about creating a life that's not just full, but fulfilling. A life that's not just busy, but meaningful. A life that's truly, authentically yours. Think about the people you love most, your family, your friends, your partner. How often are you truly with them? Not just physically in the same room, but mentally and emotionally present. Too often we are there, but not really there. We sit at the dinner table, yet our eyes are on the phone. We hear someone's words, but we don't actually listen. We rush through conversations the same way we rush through our days. And in that rush, we miss the chance to connect deeply, meaningfully. Slowing down changes this. I once saw a little boy tugging at his father's sleeve. The boy kept saying, "Daddy, look at me." But the father was glued to his laptop. Minutes passed, the boy gave up and went to play alone. That moment pierced my heart. Not because the father didn't love his son, but because he was too busy to show it. Connection requires presence, and presence requires slowing down. When you slow down, you notice more in others: the sparkle in their eyes when they're happy, the heaviness in their voice when they're sad, the unspoken things they want to share but are afraid to. You don't just hear their words, you feel their soul. Imagine a world where we all took the time to truly see each other, where conversations weren't just exchanges of information, but moments of genuine connection, where a simple "how are you" wasn't just a greeting, but an invitation to share and be heard. This world isn't a fantasy, it's within our reach, if only we choose to slow down. Think about the last time you felt truly understood. Chances are, it was in a moment when someone gave you their undivided attention. They weren't checking their watch or glancing at their phone. They were fully there, with you, in that moment. That's the power of slowing down. It transforms our interactions from superficial to profound. It turns acquaintances into friends, and friends into confidants. It deepens our bonds with family and partners, creating a sense of intimacy that can weather any storm. But in our fast-paced world, this kind of presence can feel like a luxury. We're constantly bombarded with notifications, deadlines, and the pressure to be productive. We've been conditioned to believe that faster is always better. But when it comes to relationships, this couldn't be further from the truth. Here are a few ways slowing down transforms our relationships. Listening with intention. Instead of thinking about your reply, just listen. Let silence be part of the conversation. It makes people feel valued. The next time someone is speaking to you, try this experiment. Put away all distractions and focus solely on their words. Don't interrupt. Don't formulate your response in your head. Just listen. You'll be amazed at how much more you hear, not just the words, but the emotions behind them. Unhurried time. Share a meal without phones. Take a walk together without rushing anywhere. These simple acts create memories stronger than any material gift. Remember when you were a child, and time seemed to stretch endlessly. That's because you were fully present in each moment. We can recapture that feeling by creating pockets of unhurried time in our relationships. Invite a friend over for coffee, but don't set an end time. Cook a meal with your partner, savoring not just the food, but the process of creating it together. These unhurried moments are where true bonding happens. Small gestures, a smile, a touch on the shoulder, looking into someone's eyes when done slowly and with care. These gestures say, "You matter to me." In our rush, we often forget the power of these small acts of kindness. A genuine smile can brighten someone's entire day. A gentle touch can provide comfort in times of stress. Looking into someone's eyes when they speak shows that you value what they have to say. These gestures, when done with intention and presence, speak louder than words. They create a sense of connection that goes beyond language. You see, when we rush, we treat relationships like tasks. But when we slow down, we treat them like treasures. Think about how you handle something precious, a delicate heirloom. Perhaps you hold it carefully, examine it closely, appreciate its every detail. That's how we should treat our relationships, with care, attention, and reverence. When we slow down, we give ourselves the chance to truly appreciate the people in our lives. We notice the little things, the way their eyes crinkle when they laugh, the passion in their voice when they talk about something they love, the subtle changes in their mood that we might otherwise miss. And the truth is, love is not measured by how much time we spend together, but by how much of ourselves we bring into that time. A single unhurried hour of real presence can mean more than a whole day of distracted company. Think about it. Have you ever spent an entire day with someone, yet felt like you barely connected? Now compare that to a heartfelt conversation where time seemed to stand still. Which experience left a deeper impression? When we slow down, we create space for these meaningful interactions. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to share our true thoughts and feelings, and in doing so, we invite others to do the same. This kind of deep connection doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention, effort, and yes, time, but the rewards are immeasurable. Strong relationships are the foundation of a happy life. They provide support during tough times, celebrate our joys, and give our lives meaning and purpose. So ask yourself, who in your life is waiting for you to slow down and truly be with them? A child, a partner, a parent, a friend. Don't let them become background noise in your busy life. Is it your child, eager to show you their latest drawing? Your partner, hoping to share the details of their day? Your aging parent, with stories from their youth that you've never heard? Or perhaps a friend going through a tough time, needing your support? These people, these relationships, are the true wealth in our lives. Yet too often, we treat them as interruptions to our important work. We promise to give them attention later, when we're less busy, but later rarely comes. The irony is, by slowing down and nurturing these relationships, we enrich our lives in ways that no amount of work or achievement ever could. We create a support system that sustains us through life's challenges. We build memories that bring joy long after the moment has passed. Because in the end, when we look back, it won't be the deadlines or the rush that we remember. It will be the faces we loved, the hands we held, the moments we shared when time seemed to stand still. Imagine yourself at the end of your life, looking back. What will matter most? The emails you answered promptly, the extra hours you put in at work, or the connections you made, the love you shared, the lives you touched. By slowing down now, we're investing in the memories that will sustain us later. We're creating a life rich in meaning and connection, rather than just rich in accomplishments. So I challenge you, this week, make a conscious effort to slow down in your relationships. Choose one person each day to give your full, unhurried attention. It might feel uncomfortable at first, even unproductive, but stick with it. Notice how it changes the quality of your interactions, how it deepens your connections. You might be surprised at what you discover about others and about yourself. You might find that in slowing down, you actually gain more than you lose. More understanding, more love, more life. In the next part, we will see how slowing down doesn't just deepen our relationships, it also transforms the way we see the world itself. We'll explore how a slower pace can open our eyes to the beauty and wonder that surrounds us every day. If only we take the time to notice. When was the last time you truly noticed the world outside your window? The vibrant hues of the sky as the sun rises, painting the clouds in soft pinks and golds. The mesmerizing dance of raindrops as they trickle down the glass, each one leaving a unique trail. The gentle whisper of the wind as it rustles through the leaves, creating a symphony of nature. In our fast-paced lives, we often overlook these simple yet profound moments. We are caught up in a whirlwind of tasks, deadlines, and responsibilities, rushing past the very world that sustains us. Nature has always been speaking to us, sending messages of beauty, peace, and connection. But somewhere along the way, we've forgotten how to listen. Slowing down offers us a chance to rediscover that lost connection. It's like pressing pause on the chaotic soundtrack of our lives and tuning in to the subtle melodies that have always been there, waiting for us to notice. I once read about a traveler who embarked on a whirlwind tour of Europe. He raced from one iconic landmark to another, snapping photos and ticking off destinations on his bucket list. But when he returned home and friends asked about his trip, he found himself at a loss. His camera roll was filled with images of famous sights, but he struggled to recall how it felt to stand before them. The memories were as fleeting as his visits. Months later, this same traveler decided to return to Europe with a different approach. He chose a small, picturesque village in Italy and stayed for an entire week. Instead of rushing from site to site, he simply walked the same cobblestone streets each day. He watched as the morning light transformed ancient stone walls, turning them from cool gray to warm gold. He listened to the melodic chiming of church bells at noon, marking the rhythm of village life. He engaged in conversations with locals, learning about their lives and traditions. When he returned home this time, his eyes lit up as he shared his experiences. That week, he said, "I truly lived in Europe. I didn't just see it, I felt it, breathed it, became a part of it." The difference wasn't the place, it was the pace. When we slow down, the world around us becomes infinitely richer. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, revealing depths and details we never knew existed. A tree isn't just a background element in our busy lives. It becomes a living testament to nature as patience and resilience, growing silently for decades, weathering storms, and reaching for the sky. A street isn't merely a route from point A to point B. It's a tapestry woven with countless stories. Each cobblestone or crack in the pavement holds echoes of footsteps that have passed before. The laughter of children playing, the hushed conversations of lovers, the determined strides of those pursuing their dreams. All these moments have left their invisible mark. Even the very air you breathe takes on new significance. Each inhalation becomes a reminder of your deep, unbreakable connection to this planet. The oxygen that fills your lungs was created by the trees and plants around you, linking you to the vast web of life that spans the globe. So how can we begin to reconnect with the world by slowing down? Here are a few simple yet powerful ways. First, try walking without rushing. The next time you're heading to a destination, leave a few minutes earlier than usual. Instead of hurrying with your eyes fixed on the path ahead, allow your gaze to wander. Notice the flowers pushing up through cracks in the sidewalk, resilient and determined. Observe the people you pass, not to judge, but to appreciate the diversity of human life. Take in the architecture around you, from grand buildings to humble homes, each with its own story to tell. Spending time in nature is another powerful way to reconnect. Find a quiet spot by a lake or stream and simply sit. Listen to the water lapping at the shore or bubbling over rocks. Climb a hill and feel the burn in your legs give way to a sense of accomplishment as you reach the top. Or simply stand under the open sky, letting your eyes trace the vast expanse above you. These moments in nature remind us of our place in the grand scheme of things, not insignificant, but part of something far larger than ourselves. In our technology-driven world, unplugging can be a radical act of reconnection. Challenge yourself to leave your phone aside for an hour each day. Look at the world directly, not through the filter of a screen. You might be surprised at how much more vivid and engaging reality becomes when it's not competing with notifications and scrolling feeds. The truth is, the natural world doesn't adhere to our frantic schedules and deadlines. Seasons unfold at their own measured pace, each bringing its unique gifts and challenges. Rivers flow steadily, carving paths through rock, not through force, but through persistence. Flowers don't bloom because we demand it. They open in their own time, following rhythms as old as the earth itself. Even our planet moves to its own cosmic beat, spinning on its axis and circling the sun in a dance that has continued for billions of years. When we slow down and align ourselves with these natural rhythms, we often find a sense of peace that eludes us in our rushed everyday lives. So let me ask you, when was the last time you allowed yourself to simply be in the world? No agenda, no ticking clock, no list of things to accomplish, just being present in the moment, fully aware of your surroundings and your place within them. The world is filled with wonders waiting to be discovered, but these marvels don't announce themselves with flashing lights and loud noises. They reveal themselves slowly to those who take the time to look, to listen, to feel. It might be the intricate pattern of frost on a winter window, each crystal a unique work of art, or the way sunlight filters through leaves, creating ever-shifting patterns on the forest floor. Perhaps it's the subtle change in birdsong as evening approaches, signaling the transition from day to night. These moments of beauty and connection are always there, woven into the fabric of our world. But only those who slow down will ever truly see them, appreciate them, and be transformed by them. As we conclude this exploration of slowing down to connect with the world around us, it's worth considering that this practice offers benefits beyond just a deeper appreciation of nature. In the next part of our journey, we'll delve into another profound gift that comes from slowing down, how it heals not just our minds, but also our bodies. By aligning ourselves with the natural rhythms of the world, we open ourselves to a more holistic form of well-being. We'll explore how the simple act of slowing down can reduce stress, improve our physical health, and foster a deeper sense of contentment and purpose in our lives. But for now, I invite you to take a moment, look up from these words, gaze out of your window, or step outside if you can. Take a deep breath and really notice the world around you. What do you see that you've never truly seen before? What can you hear that usually fades into the background? How does the air feel against your skin? In this moment of mindful awareness, you're taking the first step towards a richer, more connected way of living. And remember, the wonders of the world are always there, patiently waiting for us to slow down and notice them. Our bodies and minds are not built for endless rushing. Yet, that is how most of us live, constantly stressed, constantly tense, constantly racing. And then we wonder why we feel burned out, anxious, or unwell. But here's something we often forget. Healing begins with slowing down. Think about it. When you cut your finger, the body heals itself. But only if you stop picking at the wound. Only if you allow it time. The same is true for your heart, your mind, your spirit. Healing requires space. It requires stillness. It requires slowing down. I once met a woman named Sarah who had been working non-stop for years. She was a successful executive, always on the go, always connected. Her phone never stopped buzzing. Her calendar was always full. She prided herself on her ability to multitask and push through exhaustion. But one day, her body simply said enough. She collapsed at work, diagnosed with severe burnout and anxiety. At first, Sarah felt lost and frustrated. The idea of slowing down felt alien to her. She worried about falling behind, about losing her edge. But as she began to give herself permission to rest, to breathe, to simply be, something remarkable happened. Her mind cleared, her creativity returned. She found herself laughing more, noticing the small joys of life she had been too busy to see before. Slowing down became Sarah's medicine. Not the kind prescribed by a doctor, but the kind her soul had been silently craving all along. Here's how slowing down brings healing. Stress relief. When we pause, our nervous system shifts from fight or flight into rest and restore. It's like giving our body a chance to take a deep breath. Cortisol levels drop, blood pressure normalizes, and our muscles begin to relax. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about allowing our body's natural healing processes to kick in. Better sleep. How many of us spend our evenings rushing from one task to another, then wonder why we can't fall asleep? Unrushed evenings, free from constant screens and stimulation, allow the mind to settle. Our brain needs time to process the day, to wind down. When we give it that space, we're more likely to fall into deep, restorative sleep, the kind that truly rejuvenates us. Emotional balance. In our rush to get things done, we often push our emotions aside. We don't have time to feel sad, or angry, or even joyful. But emotions need space to be felt and processed. When we slow down, we give ourselves the chance to acknowledge what we're feeling. We can sit with our emotions, understand them, and let them pass naturally rather than burying them under layers of busyness, only to have them resurface later in unhealthy ways. Renewed creativity. Have you ever noticed how your best ideas often come when you're not trying to have them? In the shower, on a walk, or just as you're drifting off to sleep? That's because creativity thrives in stillness. When we're constantly rushing, we're using the analytical, task-oriented part of our brain. But when we slow down, we allow our mind to wander, to make new connections. This is where innovation and insight are born. Slowing down doesn't mean weakness, it means wisdom. It is the body's way of saying, let me breathe, let me repair, let me thrive. Think of it like tending a garden. You can't make a plant grow faster by pulling on it. Growth happens in its own time, with the right conditions, sunlight, water, nutrients, and patience. Our well-being is much the same. We can't force healing or growth, but we can create the conditions that allow it to happen naturally. So if you have been tired for too long, if your heart feels heavy, if your mind feels scattered, perhaps what you need is not more effort, but more stillness. Imagine waking up without an alarm, allowing your body to naturally rise when it's rested. Picture yourself savoring a meal without rushing, actually tasting each bite. Envision an evening where you sit quietly, watching the sunset, with nowhere to be and nothing to do. These moments of slowness are not lazy or unproductive. They are essential. They are the moments when we reconnect with ourselves, when we remember what truly matters, when we allow our inner wisdom to speak. In our fast-paced world, slowing down can feel counterintuitive, even scary. We worry about falling behind, about missing out. But what if, in our rush to keep up, we're actually missing out on the most important things? Our health, our relationships, our sense of purpose and joy. Remember Sarah, the executive who collapsed from burnout. Her journey to healing wasn't just about recovering her health. It was about rediscovering herself. As she learned to slow down, she found a new sense of purpose. She realized that her worth wasn't tied to her productivity. She began to value her relationships more, to find joy in simple pleasures. And interestingly, when she returned to work, she found herself more effective than ever because she was working from a place of balance and clarity, rather than exhaustion and stress. Slowing down is a practice. It's something we need to consciously choose, again and again. It might feel uncomfortable at first, like any new habit, but with time, it becomes natural. We start to crave those moments of stillness, to look forward to them. Here are some simple ways to start. Take 5 deep breaths before responding to an email or text. This small pause can help you respond more thoughtfully and calmly. Eat 1 meal a day without any distractions, no phone, no TV, no reading. Just focus on the food, the flavors, the experience of nourishing your body. Schedule do-nothing time in your calendar. Even if it's just 15 minutes, protect this time as you would any important appointment. Go for a slow walk, without a destination in mind. Notice the world around you, the trees, the sky, the sounds, the smells. Before bed, take a few minutes to reflect on your day. What are you grateful for? What did you learn? This practice can help settle your mind for better sleep. Remember, slowing down isn't about doing less. It's about being more present, more intentional, more alive. Because in stillness, we heal. In slowness, we recover what rushing has taken away. We rediscover our true selves, our deepest values, our capacity for joy and connection. In the next part, we will explore how slowing down opens the door to something many of us long for, true happiness and gratitude. We'll see how these moments of pause and presence can transform not just our individual lives, but our relationships, our communities, and perhaps even our world. So take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, notice the rise and fall of your chest. In this moment, right now, you are practicing the art of slowing down, and in this stillness, healing begins. She went from one country to another, one experience to the next, but still felt empty. One day, she was sitting in a small cafe in a quiet village. A child offered her a flower, smiling with pure joy. In that simple gesture, she felt something she had been missing all along: gratitude. It wasn't the faraway places or the big adventures. It was the small, everyday moments seen through a heart that slows down enough to be grateful. Slowing down allows us to see life not as something to chase, but as something to cherish. Think about your own life. The taste of warm tea on a rainy morning, the laughter of a friend who truly understands you, the comfort of knowing someone is waiting for you at home. These are not small things, they are everything, and yet we miss them when we rush. Gratitude is born from awareness, and awareness is born from slowing down. When we pause, we realize how much we already have. We stop focusing only on what's missing and start appreciating what's present. Have you ever noticed how a simple walk in nature can shift your entire perspective? the rustling of leaves, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the gentle breeze carrying the scent of flowers. These moments are always there, waiting for us to pay attention. But in our hurry, we often overlook them, chasing after bigger, louder experiences that we believe will bring us joy. The irony is that true happiness often resides in these quiet, unassuming moments. It's in the first sip of coffee in the morning, the soft purr of a cat curled up beside you, or the satisfying click of a puzzle piece fitting into place. These experiences might seem insignificant when we're caught up in the whirlwind of our busy lives, but they hold the key to a deeper, more sustainable form of happiness. Consider the last time you felt truly content. Was it during a grand event or an expensive vacation? Or was it perhaps during a simple moment of connection, a heartfelt conversation with a loved one, or a peaceful evening spent reading your favorite book? Often, it's these understated experiences that leave the most lasting impression on our hearts. Here are some simple practices to cultivate happiness through slowing down. Gratitude journaling. Each night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. You'll begin to see joy in places you never noticed. This practice trains your mind to look for the positive, even on challenging days. You might start with obvious things, like having a roof over your head or food on your table. But as you continue, you'll find yourself noticing and appreciating smaller details, the way sunlight filters through your curtains, or the kindness of a stranger who held the door open for you. Mindful, savoring. Eat slowly, walk slowly, breathe slowly. Allow yourself to fully experience the moment. When you eat, really taste your food. Notice the textures, the flavors, the aromas. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. Observe the world around you. When you breathe, focus on the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. This practice helps you anchor yourself in the present, where true happiness resides. Thankfulness in relationships. Tell the people around you how much they mean to you. Don't wait for special occasions. A simple "I appreciate you" can brighten someone's day and deepen your connection. It also reminds you of the richness of your relationships, a key source of happiness that we often take for granted. The paradox is this: when we rush toward happiness, it slips away. But when we slow down, happiness finds us. Imagine you're at a bustling market, searching for a rare, precious stone. You rush from stall to stall, your eyes darting frantically, afraid you might miss it. In your haste, you bump into people, knock over displays, and become increasingly frustrated. Now imagine instead that you slow down. You take your time, examining each stall carefully. Suddenly, you notice the beauty of the other stones around you. You engage in pleasant conversations with the vendors. And then, when you least expect it, you spot the stone you were looking for. It was there all along, waiting for you to slow down enough to see it. This is how happiness works. When we're constantly chasing after it, we miss the joy that's already present in our lives. We become so focused on what we do and have that we fail to appreciate what we do have. But when we slow down, we create space for gratitude to flourish. We notice the small kindnesses, the quiet beauty, the simple pleasures that make life rich and meaningful. So ask yourself, are you truly lacking joy, or are you simply moving too fast to see it? Think about the last time you felt stressed or unhappy. Were you rushing from one task to another, your mind always on the next thing? Were you so focused on your goals that you forgot to enjoy the journey? Now imagine how different that experience might have been if you had slowed down, even for just a few moments. Perhaps you would have noticed the encouraging smile from a colleague, or the satisfaction of completing a task well, or the comfort of your favorite sweater against your skin. Slowing down doesn't mean being unproductive or lazy. It means being present, being mindful, being grateful. It means giving yourself permission to fully inhabit each moment of your life, rather than always racing toward the next thing. Because the more we slow down, the more we realize that happiness isn't something distant, it's here, now, in the very breath we're taking. Take a moment right now to pause. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a deep breath in, and slowly let it out. Notice how your body feels. Notice any sounds around you. Notice your thoughts, without judging them. This is what it means to slow down, to fully inhabit this moment, exactly as it is. In this stillness, you might find that happiness isn't some far-off destination. It's not waiting for you in your next accomplishment or your next purchase. It's here, in the peace of this moment. It's in the miracle of your breath, in the comfort of your body, in the richness of your awareness. As we conclude, Remember that slowing down is a practice. It's something we can choose to do in each moment. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to a fast-paced life. But with time and patience, you'll find that it becomes easier. You'll start to notice more moments of joy, more reasons to be grateful, more opportunities for connection and contentment. In the next part, we will explore how slowing down helps us embrace one of life's greatest truths, impermanence. But for now, let this be your invitation to slow down, to notice, to appreciate. Let it be your reminder that happiness isn't something to chase, it's something to recognize, right here, right now. One of the greatest truths of life is this: nothing lasts forever. The seasons change, flowers bloom and fade, people come and go, and even we ourselves are constantly changing. This truth is called impermanence. But most of us live as if things will stay the same forever. We rush, we hold on tightly, we fear losing what we love, and because of that fear, we often forget to fully appreciate what's in front of us until it's gone. Slowing down teaches us to embrace impermanence, not as something to fear, but as something that gives life its beauty. When we take the time to pause and reflect, we begin to see the world through a different lens, one that allows us to savor each fleeting moment. Imagine watching a sunset. You know it will last only a short while, but because it is fleeting, you savor every color, every moment before the light fades. Life is the same. It is precious because it does not last forever. Each day, each interaction, each breath is a unique experience that will never come again in exactly the same way. I once spoke with an elderly man who had lost his wife after many years of marriage. With tears in his eyes, he said, "We always thought we had more time, more dinners together, more walks, more laughter. But time slipped away so fast. If I could go back, I would hold her hand longer, look at her face longer, listen to her voice longer." His words were not only of sadness, but also of wisdom. The only way to truly honor impermanence is to slow down and be present while we can. This man's story is a powerful reminder of how easily we can take the present for granted. We often assume that our loved ones, our health, our opportunities will always be there. But life has a way of surprising us, sometimes gently, sometimes harshly, with the reality of change. When we slow down, we learn to hold moments more gently. We stop rushing past people and experiences, and instead, we let them sink into our memory, our heart. We begin to notice the small details that make life rich, the way sunlight filters through leaves, the sound of a child's laughter, the comfort of a warm cup of tea on a cold morning. Slowing down allows us to cultivate a deeper appreciation for the impermanent nature of life. It's in these quiet moments of reflection that we often find the most profound insights and the deepest connections. Here are a few lessons impermanence teaches us when we slow down. Every moment is a gift. Because it will not repeat itself, it is infinitely valuable. When we truly understand this, we stop taking moments for granted. We learn to give our full attention to the present, whether it's a conversation with a friend, a walk in nature, or even a mundane task like washing dishes. Goodbyes give meaning to hellos. Knowing something will end helps us treasure it while it's here. This understanding can transform how we approach relationships, experiences, and even our daily routines. It encourages us to express love and gratitude more freely, to take risks, and to live with intention. Letting go is part of living. When we accept change, we no longer cling with fear, we embrace with love. This doesn't mean we don't feel pain or loss, but rather that we learn to move through these experiences with grace and resilience. We understand that letting go creates space for new growth and new possibilities. Slowing down is how we truly honor the fragile beauty of life. It allows us to love without hurry, to live without regret, and to accept change with grace. When we're not constantly rushing from one thing to the next, we create space for deeper connections, more meaningful experiences, and a greater sense of peace. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the illusion of permanence. We plan for the future as if it's guaranteed, often forgetting that the only moment we truly have is now. Slowing down reminds us to cherish what's in front of us, to express our love and appreciation while we can, and to find joy in the simple act of being alive. So let me ask you, what or who in your life have you been rushing past, assuming they'll always be there? What would change if you slowed down enough to see them, to cherish them, before the moment slips away? Perhaps it's a relationship you've been taking for granted, a dream you've been putting off, or even a simple pleasure you've forgotten to enjoy. Take a moment now to reflect on this. Close your eyes and think of someone or something in your life that you value deeply. Imagine how you might approach them differently if you truly embraced the impermanence of life. How would you speak to them? What would you say? What would you do differently? This practice of slowing down and embracing impermanence isn't always easy. It requires us to face our fears of loss and change. It asks us to be vulnerable, to open our hearts even when we know they might be broken. But it also offers us the chance to live more fully, to love more deeply, and to find beauty in the ever-changing tapestry of life. Because in the end, impermanence is not our enemy. It is our reminder to love deeper, to live fuller, to slow down while we still have time. It teaches us that every hello, every sunset, every shared laugh is precious precisely because it won't last forever. By embracing this truth, we can transform our perspective on life and death, on love and loss. Impermanence invites us to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, to find wonder in the everyday. It encourages us to be fully present in our lives, to appreciate the beauty of change, and to find peace in the flow of existence. When we slow down and truly embrace impermanence, we open ourselves to a richer, more authentic way of living. As we move through life, let's remember to pause, to breathe, to look around with wonder and gratitude. Let's cherish the people we love, pursue our passions with vigor, and find joy in the simple moments. For it is in these moments, fleeting as they may be, that we truly live. In the next part, we will explore how slowing down gives us something many people spend their whole lives searching for: inner freedom. We'll discover how embracing impermanence can lead to a profound sense of liberation, allowing us to live with greater authenticity, courage, and joy. So stay tuned, and remember, the key to a fulfilling life might just be in slowing down and embracing the beautiful, ever-changing nature of existence. We live in a world full of expectations. Expectations from society, from family, from work, and most of all from ourselves. Every day, we are told how to live, what to achieve, what to own, who to be, and so, we rush to meet those expectations, fearing that if we don't, we are not enough. But here's the truth. When we live only to meet the world's demands, we become prisoners of speed. We lose our freedom, and we lose our authenticity. Slowing down is the key that unlocks that prison. Because when we slow down, we stop hearing only the loud voices outside and we begin to hear the quiet voice within. The voice that says, "This is who I am. This is what I value. This is the life I want to live." Imagine for a moment, a world where we're not constantly racing against the clock. A world where we have the time to breathe, to think, to truly be ourselves. This isn't just a fantasy, it's a possibility that opens up when we dare to slow down. I once knew a man who spent decades climbing the corporate ladder. From the outside, he looked successful, but inside, he felt empty. One day, during a rare vacation, he sat by the ocean and watched the waves for hours. For the first time in years, he wasn't rushing. In that stillness, he realized his true passion was art, not business. It was only by slowing down that he found the courage to be authentic, to finally live his own life. This story isn't unique. How many of us have found ourselves on paths we never truly chose, simply because we were moving too fast to question where we were going? Freedom is not about having more time. It's about reclaiming the time you already have and choosing to live it as yourself. Think about that for a moment. We often believe that if we just had more hours in the day, we'd finally be free to do what we want. But what if the secret isn't more time, but a different approach to the time we have? Here are a few ways slowing down leads to freedom and authenticity. Saying no. When you pause before agreeing to everything, you discover which commitments align with your true self and which don't. It's about quality over quantity, about choosing experiences that resonate with who you really are, choosing less. Slowing down helps us see that we don't need everything the world tells us we need. Less noise, less pressure, less distraction equals more freedom. It's in the spaces between things that we often find ourselves living intentionally. When you slow down, you live by choice, not by habit. You decide how to spend your days, instead of letting them be consumed by the rush. Each moment becomes an opportunity to express your authentic self. Slowing down frees us from comparison, from pressure, from the endless race. It allows us to live more simply, more honestly, more fully. Consider the last time you felt truly free. Chances are, It wasn't when you were rushing from one task to another. It was probably a moment of stillness, a moment when you felt completely present and at peace with yourself. So ask yourself, if you slowed down long enough to listen to your own soul, what would it tell you? What kind of life would you choose to create? This question isn't just philosophical, it's practical. Your answer could change the entire course of your life. Maybe you'd realize that your passion lies in teaching, not in the corporate job you've been pursuing. Perhaps you'd discover that what you really want is to live in a small town by the sea, not in the bustling city you've always thought you should love. Or maybe, just maybe, you'd find that you're already exactly where you need to be, but you've been too busy to appreciate it. Because true freedom is not found in running faster. It is found in pausing, in listening, and in daring to live authentically. Think about the most authentic people you know. They're not necessarily the ones with the busiest schedules or the most impressive resumes. They're the ones who seem comfortable in their own skin, who make choices based on their values rather than external pressures. These people have found a way to slow down in a world that's always speeding up. They've created space in their lives for reflection, for growth, for genuine connection with others. And here's the beautiful thing, we can all do this. We can all choose to slow down. It might not be easy at first. Our fast-paced world doesn't always support this choice. But with practice, with intention, we can create pockets of slowness in our days. We can learn to resist the urge to fill every moment with activity. Start small. Take 5 minutes each morning to sit in silence before checking your phone. Go for a walk without any destination in mind. Eat a meal without multitasking. These small acts of slowing down can have a profound impact on how we experience our lives. As we slow down, we might notice things we've been too busy to see before. The way the light changes throughout the day, the sound of birds outside our window, the feeling of our breath moving in and out of our bodies. We might also notice things about ourselves that we've been too distracted to acknowledge. Our true desires, our fears, our capacity for joy and creativity. This self-awareness is the foundation of authenticity. When we know ourselves, truly know ourselves, we can make choices that align with who we are, not who we think we should be. And as we become more authentic, we become more free. Free from the need to impress others. Free from the tyranny of shoulds and musts. Free to live our lives on our own terms. This freedom isn't about selfishness or disregard for others. In fact, when we're living authentically, we often find that we have more to give. We're more present in our relationships, more engaged in our work, more alive in every aspect of our lives. Slowing down to find freedom and authenticity isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice, a way of moving through the world with intention and awareness. In the final part, we will bring everything together and explore how slowing down becomes not just a practice, but a way of life, a philosophy that can guide us every single day. We'll look at how this approach can transform not just our individual lives, but our communities and our world. Because when we slow down, when we live authentically, we create ripples that extend far beyond ourselves. We'll explore practical strategies for maintaining this slower, more authentic pace, even in the face of life's inevitable challenges and pressures. And we'll consider the profound impact that a collective shift towards slowness could have on our society, our economy, and our planet. As we close this part, I invite you to take a deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. Notice the pause between the inhale and the exhale. In that pause, in that moment of stillness, lies the seed of freedom and authenticity. It's always there, waiting for us to notice it, to nurture it, to let it grow into a life lived fully and authentically. So slow down, listen to your inner voice, and dare to live the life that's truly yours. Create 60 images that are consistent with the video content. We began this journey with a simple idea, slowing down. But as we've discovered, slowing down is not just about moving at a gentler pace. It is about transforming the way we live, the way we see, the way we love. When we slow down, we connect more deeply with ourselves, with others, with the world around us. We rediscover the joy in small things, the meaning in ordinary moments, the freedom in being truly present. Think of all the lessons we've explored together. We learned that slowing down is not weakness, it is strength, a conscious choice to live with awareness. In a world that constantly pushes us to go faster, to do more, to be more, choosing to slow down is an act of courage. It's a declaration that we value quality over quantity, depth over breadth, and presence over distraction. We saw how mindfulness transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary experiences. The simple act of breathing, when done with full attention, becomes a gateway to inner peace. A walk in the park, when taken with mindful steps, turns into a journey of discovery. Even the most mundane tasks, like washing dishes or folding laundry, can become meditative practices that ground us in the present moment. We understood that nature teaches us patience, balance, and peace if only we take the time to listen. The steady growth of a tree, the rhythmic ebb and flow of tides, the changing of seasons, all these natural phenomena remind us that life unfolds in its own time. Nature doesn't rush, yet everything is accomplished. By aligning ourselves with these natural rhythms, we find a sense of harmony and ease in our own lives. We realize that slowing down makes our relationships deeper, richer, more real. When we're not in a hurry, we can truly listen to others, not just with our ears, but with our hearts. We can be fully present in conversations, picking up on subtle cues and unspoken emotions. We can create space for genuine connection, allowing relationships to unfold organically rather than forcing them to fit into our busy schedules. We discovered that creativity, happiness, gratitude, and even freedom grow when we allow life to unfold at its natural rhythm. When we're not constantly racing against the clock, our minds have the space to wander, to imagine, to create. We find more reasons to be grateful because we're actually noticing the good things in our lives. We experience more joy because we're not always chasing after the next big thing, and we feel more free because we're no longer slaves to our schedules or society's expectations. And perhaps most importantly, we embraced impermanence, the truth that everything changes, and that it is in cherishing the fleeting that we truly live. By slowing down, we become more aware of the transient nature of life. We learn to appreciate each moment, knowing that it will never come again in exactly the same way. This awareness doesn't make us sad. Instead, it makes each experience more precious, more vibrant, more alive. This is the philosophy of living slowly, not resisting the flow of life, but moving with it. Not grasping for more, but appreciating what is already here. Not rushing toward a destination, but fully inhabiting the journey. Living slowly doesn't mean we never move quickly or that we avoid all forms of technology or progress. It's not about retreating from the world or becoming passive. Rather, it's about being intentional with our time and energy. It's about choosing where to focus our attention and making conscious decisions about how we want to live our lives. The philosophy of living slowly encourages us to question the cultural narratives that equate busyness with importance, speed with success. It invites us to redefine what a good life looks like on our own terms. Maybe success isn't about climbing the corporate ladder as quickly as possible, but about finding work that aligns with our values and allows us to make a positive impact. Maybe happiness isn't about accumulating more possessions, but about cultivating rich experiences and meaningful relationships. Living slowly also means embracing the idea of enough. In a world that constantly tells us we need more money, more stuff, more achievements, choosing to slow down is a radical act of contentment. It's saying, what I have is enough. Who I am is enough. This moment is enough. Let me leave you with this story. A wise teacher once asked his students, "When do you think is the most important time of your life?" Some answered, "The day I was born." Others said, "The day I will achieve my dreams." But the teacher shook his head and said, "The most important time is always now, because it is the only moment you truly have." This simple story encapsulates the essence of living slowly. It reminds us that life doesn't happen in the past or the future. It happens now, in this very moment. And if we're always rushing through the present to get to some imagined future, we're missing out on the richness of our actual lives. Slowing down is how we honor now. It's how we taste life fully, love deeply, and live authentically. It's how we transform ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. It's how we create a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, rather than just busy and productive. So, my invitation to you is simple. Tomorrow, when you wake up, don't reach for your phone immediately. Take a breath, look out the window, feel your own heartbeat. Let that moment remind you you are alive, and that is enough. As you walk through your day, pause more often. Smile at a stranger, watch the clouds, eat slowly, hug someone longer, say thank you. These little acts of slowing down may seem small, but together they create a life of presence, gratitude, and joy. Notice the texture of your food as you eat. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Listen to the laughter of children playing. Observe the intricate patterns in a leaf or a flower. These small moments of awareness can bring a sense of wonder and aliveness to even the most ordinary day. When you're in conversation with someone, really listen. Do you just wait for your turn to speak, or think about what you're going to say next. Try to understand not just their words, but the feelings and experiences behind those words. This kind of deep listening can transform our relationships and create a sense of genuine connection. Take time to do nothing. In our productivity-obsessed culture, this might feel uncomfortable or even wrong, but allowing ourselves periods of unstructured time to daydream, to rest, to simply be is essential for our creativity, our mental health, and our overall well-being. Remember that slowing down is a practice, not a destination. There will be times when you fall back into old patterns of rushing and busyness. That's okay. The key is to notice when this happens and gently bring yourself back to a slower, more mindful way of being. Because at the end of the day, life is not measured by how much we achieved or how fast we ran. Life is measured by how deeply we lived, how fully we loved, and how present we were in the moments that passed through our hands like water. Living slowly allows us to catch those moments, to hold them gently, to truly experience them before they slip away. It allows us to write our own stories, rather than simply following the script that society has written for us. It allows us to create a life that feels authentic and meaningful, rather than just busy and successful. And so, may you live slowly, may you live fully, may you live well. May you find the courage to step off the treadmill of constant busyness and into the rich, messy, beautiful flow of life. May you discover the joy of being fully present, the peace of moving at your own pace, and the freedom of defining success on your own terms. Remember, every moment is an opportunity to choose how you want to live. Every breath is a chance to slow down, to tune in, to be here now. The philosophy of living slowly is not about reaching a particular goal or achieving a certain state. It's about embracing the journey, with all its ups and downs, its joys and sorrows, its mundane moments, and its extraordinary ones. So take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, notice the world around you, and step into the beautiful, unhurried rhythm of a life lived slowly, intentionally, and fully. This is your life. Live it well.